So I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's remind ourselves what this was all about. I'm sure it's more on your mind than mine, but I remember something that we wanted to talk about, sort of like helping people get out of their situations and like seek asylum.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let me introduce myself. So my
Yeah.
name is Tariq. I'm 24 years old. I am a queer ex-Muslim, as you know, as the title says. I am from Jordan, and I left Jordan 2 months ago to go to the UK, and I got my refugee status a few days ago. And yeah, the journey has been on and
How
off.
long has the road been since you first thought to get asylum and then to you getting it?
How long, like, did it take from me getting in the UK to get my refugee
More
status?
so from the moment you started thinking about it. Like when was it an idea that
I started thinking about it in 2022 because one of my close friends, he's Saudi, and he was telling me about he how he went to the UK and claimed asylum, and he got it, and I was like, "Do you think they help gay people?" And he was like, "Yeah, they actually really like they like are really helpful with gay people."
so your source of information
Was
to
my
successfully get out of your situation came through a friend who had done it
No,
already.
no. He was like he gave me the thought because I never had the thought to begin with. So I started in 2022 contacting like LGBT organizations. I also contacted so many organizations in Jordan, like the UNHCR and so many places, and none of them were able to help me.
So you
And I
were
even
doing a lot of groundwork to your own research. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know how asylum works. I didn't know how like you get asylum. I thought that you claim asylum when you're at your home country and then they say yes and then you move. I found out that you have to move to the country and then when you get at the airport to claim it, you have to claim asylum, which is what I did, which is what I did. But yeah, I spent all of 2022 and 2023 contacting LGBT organizations, even LGBT organizations in Jordan. None of them were helping me. I tried to contact. Where are you from?
Born
Canada
and
or the
raised
U.S.?
born and raised in Los Angeles. I'm in Illinois, south of
Illinois.
Chicago.
Okay. Illinois. So this organization is called Rainbow Railroad. It's like the biggest LGBT organization that helps people like me move out of their, countries. And I started like asking them for help, and it took them a while, and they were asking me to verify my information, verify everything.
So it's like you got help from a group of ex straight people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the ex straight people group in some ways helped you more than the ex Muslim group.
Who? The ex-straight people group?
Ex straight, yeah. It's not really a group. I'm making fun here, but
Yeah, I know. I'm
um,
just
you know,
joking.
queers. I'm going to use that word because you used it. I don't know what's appropriate words, but queers. In the past, obviously still happen today. We're getting a lot of negative treatment from straight people, and similarly, ex-Muslims getting negative treatment from Muslims, and the ex-straight people group organized and are now helping the rest of them. It sounds like I didn't know this existed. I didn't know there was an organization. I knew there's organizations that are queer people, but I didn't know they're going out and helping people all over the world. Wow.
Yes, so as you were saying, they're called Rainbow Railroad. They're in Canada. So
Wow.
basically, you start like having to like send them information, and then after a while, a caseworker comes back to you, and then they're like, "Can you verify that you're gay?" Basically, that's what they want. Just be like, "How do we know that you're gay?"
Well,
And
that's
so
interesting, and maybe that
yeah,
needs some discussion on its own. I can skip that part. I'm fine.
yeah,
Pictures?
yeah.
I don't know.
So they were just asking me to verify my case, and I did because like I had so much proof. And then they took a while. Like they still haven't responded to my email until now. It's been 2 years, and they still haven't responded back to me because they have so much, like they have so many people that they
Oh yeah,
help.
I'm sure the demand is very high and not much supply.
Yeah, like yeah, last year 60,000 people reached out to them. Last year, 2023, I think, or 60 or 18. It's one of the two. I'm not sure.
What kind of help are they offering?
So basically, they help people like me, like be able to get out of the country. So like, let's
Well,
say
I
one of my
imagine the
friends.
first step is to give you some know-how on what are your options and what you can do, right? So
Yeah, exactly,
do they
exactly,
have like
exactly.
a nicely formatted website that helps you learn all that? Do they send you like some workbook that explains all your rights or what?
No, not I wish, not really. But it's like honestly, they didn't tell me how they help. All I knew is they help. So I didn't know how they exactly help, but they like one of my friends was able to get to the stage where they can help him, and they were like,
Was this
by
a
the
queer
way,
friend?
what? Yeah, he's a queer friend. He's also from
Okay, so
Jordan.
it's the same organization doing the helping. Okay.
Yes. So after he reached the stage that I didn't reach, they were like, "We can only help you once you get to this country." So they pick a country for him, and they're like, "Come to this
Okay,
country, and
so
you'll be able."
they line up what's going to happen after you arrive, and then what has to happen is you arrive, and then you do the first step of requesting asylum, and because they did the work from before, that all works out.
Uh, can you
Uh,
repeat that? I
you know,
couldn't catch that.
well, here's all I'm saying. If you never met these people, this organization that's helping you, and then you flew to Canada and asked for asylum, maybe it could work out, but this group is helping you make sure it happens or what?
It's more like they sponsor you. They like sponsor like because they're a very, very strong organization, so they help you throughout the entire process. I don't really know because I didn't reach that stage with them, but I know that they do help people because when you go to their website, if you go to their website right now, you can see that they've helped so many queer people all across the world.
So, by the way,
That they,
I'm the reason I'm asking these kinds of questions is aside from being curious about your particular situation, I'm also thinking of a broader thing of how your story can help other people benefit the way you benefited. So I'm what I'm trying to understand is what exactly happened and how can it be replicated with other people.
So sadly, that the interview is happening today because today the United Kingdom made a decision and it's official that Jordanians can no longer go to the UK using an ETA. ETA is basically an electronic visa that you get online. You don't have to go to any embassy, you don't have to go to any interview. You just apply online and then you get it within a day. And that's what I did.
So
That's what I did. It's called ETA. Yeah.
okay.
So I got an email today from the same place that I made my ETA from. They were like, "Your ETA is canceled. Every Jordanian's ETA is canceled. The Jordanians can no longer use ETAs to come to the UK," which is what I did because Jordanians were exploiting the system. Because Jordanians, like, I heard this happen because, like, even when I came here, I was detained for 18 hours because Jordanians are actually really, really exploiting the system. Not only are they coming here and then going to Ireland to claim asylum, but they're also trying to, like, they come here and then they go illegally to Mexico, and then from Mexico they go to the UK, to the US. They're also claiming asylum over like not true stories. Like I know someone who came here and he was like, "I'm claiming asylum because I got in an argument with my wife." What? With your wife? Yeah. So obviously the UK was like, you know what? Fuck that. We're not gonna have that, and they canceled the ETAs. Like this decision came out just
Okay,
today.
but to be clear, ETA is one method. There's other methods, right? So what they're saying is we're adding in some more filtration steps. uh,
Yeah, it is filtration. Like it is harder now. Like if like someone can still do what I did, but it's harder. But once once they get their visa, like that this is where like once you get your visa, you're good. All you have to do is go to the country
so
that
what?
you went to.
So basic stuff that I'm not clear on is like, so when you request asylum, you first you have to travel to that country, request
Yes.
asylum. What
Yes.
goes into, like what are the chances, or what would cause them to say no, we're not accepting your case?
No, that's not how it works. Basically, so when you go to the airport, I'm gonna tell you what happened with me, and then I'm gonna you'll understand what happened. So when I
Sure.
tell you, so when I got to the airport, I was asked by one of the immigration officers to step forward, and they asked to see my passport. And I was like, "Are you an immigration officer?" They were like, "Yes." Why? I said, "I am here to claim asylum." And then he called other officers over, and then they started speaking to me, and then they took my passport, and they were asking if I was planning to tear apart my passport. I wasn't sure why they asked that because so many people, when they get here, they tear apart their passports.
So that they physically can't get in the plane and leave, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And I
that's
was like,
interesting.
why would I do that? Why would I just give you the passport myself? Why would I tear it? So they were just talking through, and then they put me in a holding area. The airport was very, very busy. It was like July 2nd, so the airport was very busy. So they didn't have the time to come in to talk to me. But every few hours, one of the officers would come on to check on me and then go back, and then check on me and then go back. And then finally, when something happened, they put me in like a detention center. So they were like, "We're not you didn't do anything wrong. We just don't have the time to interview you, and we don't have the time to do anything." But they detained me at like 7 p.m. and then at 4 a.m. one of the officers called me over and they started the interview. This is the first interview. This interview is called the initial interview.
At 4
Basically, this
a.m. and you
interview
didn't get any sleep.
I did get some sleep. I was really anxious, obviously, because I was like, what is happening to me? What is happening?" But they called me over at 4 a.m. and they started the interview. This is called the initial interview, and they told me, "We don't decide anything. Decision is not up to us. We don't decide anything. We just
They're
take
just
the
collecting
information."
information.
Yes, we just take the information, not even in details, and send it to the home office. So they were asking me questions about like how I came here, if I have any other like passports, why I came here, why I'm claiming asylum, why it's bad for me to go back to my home country. And I just explained everything. It was like a few like I think it was only 50 questions, and that was it. They it was just like not in depth at all. It was like just a very like vague questions. And they were like, "We don't decide anything. The decision comes from your in-depth interview, which will happen a year or 2 years after you've been in the UK. It takes a really long time. We
Oh
don't decide
wow.
anything."
So during the period of deciding, you get to stay in that country. I didn't realize that.
Yes, while you're waiting for your interview, you get to stay in the country.
And I'm going to take a guess here that they're also judging you during those 2 years. So if you act badly, they'll kick your ass out. And then if you're a good citizen, or a good would be citizen during those 2 years, then they would keep you.
I mean,
I,
not
I,
really
I
because
don't know how it works. I'm just telling you what I would do if
no,
I was the country.
no. Okay, so basically, it doesn't necessarily take 2 years, but sometimes it takes 2 years because some of my friends have been here 3 years and they still haven't received their interviews.
They're
But
still
the
picking them
like,
out. They're not sure.
yeah, the home office, like the home office, like ideally wants it to be between 6 to 12 months. And during that period, you're basically called an asylum seeker. You get a card, which is called an asylum card. They give you £9 weekly on it, which is bad. £8 a week isn't really good at all. But they cover your accommodation, they cover your food, they cover everything. So basically, the eight
They
pounds
give
are
you a
just
place
giving
to
you.
live. Is that what you said?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so and it was Canada, right?
No, this is in the UK. I'm in the UK right now.
UK. Okay, man, the UK's that's really nice. I bet you most countries are not doing it that well.
Yeah, yeah. My friend went and claim asylum in Canada, and they give her much more money than they give me, but they tell her that you basically have to find accommodation yourself, which is, Canada. It's very expensive. They
Yeah,
give her
it is.
around, I think, 900 Canadian dollars a month, and
Okay.
that should cover everything: her food, her accommodation, her like life necessities. It's I don't know. Here you get a card. It's called Aspen card. You get like 8 pounds. If
It seems like it's really easy
what is really easy.
to succeed at getting asylum. Okay, I guess it's not easy. You have to have enough money and the right circumstances to get yourself in a plane and to this other country. And lots of
Yeah,
people don't have the money for that plane ticket. And even if
yeah,
they did have the money, they're restricted a different way. Like they
yeah.
really can't get to the airport without their brothers or parents knowing or whatever.
Especially like women, Arab women who
Yes,
are
that's
like
what I was
raised
focusing on there. Yeah,
Arab women who are raised in like
and
Muslim
and
households.
especially in a country like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, where it used to be that you had to have a
Well,
male with
she
you
couldn't
to be
drive
able
to
to
the
leave.
airport herself. Like she'd have to take a taxi, I guess. And then,
N-
and I don't know the details, but I imagine the taxi driver will be saying, "Where's your brother?" or "Where's your father?"
No, like legally before, I don't know, like I don't know when they took this law away, but legally in Saudi Arabia, a woman can't travel by herself. She needs to have
Oh, so
a
not
male
only she
companion
can't
with
drive,
her.
she can't get in a taxi.
She can't get into a taxi now, thankfully. Thankfully,
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia, sure, it's getting progressive.
yeah.
I'm just joking.
I
But
know. I know. There's a conflict in me, I'm a fun person. I try to have fun and some topics, I can make fun of but underlying all of these topics that I'm trying to make fun of, there's the really horrible evil shit going on, a lot of major suffering, death penalty,
yeah,
people are getting
yeah, yeah,
killed, people are getting
yeah.
abused.
Yep, yep. I
Yeah.
mean, I used to live in Saudi Arabia before I moved to the UK. I'm Jordanian, but my parents moved to Saudi Arabia a year before I traveled to the UK, so I lived a year in Saudi
So
Arabia.
so not this time, but if you wouldn't mind, I would like to have you on the podcast another day to talk about other kind of things, like things that you learn, differences between Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and all kinds of other things, culture, religion, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
sure,
actually
sure.
mixing it in with your queerness. I don't know too many people that have your set of identity matrix, I guess. So I'd like to have you on the show another day to learn about that kind of stuff. For this one, I'd like
Yeah,
to
sure.
focus on.
Sure, sure, sure. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm more than willing to talk about Saudi Arabia because I hate that country. I hate that country with all of me.
Yeah. So
Wait,
one
you're
thing,
ex-Muslim too, right?
yes, ex-Muslim. Yeah. So one thing I would ask you when we get on that podcast is, do you think Saudi Arabia is improving? What do you think's happening with the new guy that's running the show over there? And anyway, but not this time. So this time, I really
Just a quick
want to focus.
answer. Just a quick answer. Just like because I
Yeah,
know it
sure.
is improving, but not in the way that you think. Not it is 100 like compared to Jordan, it's still 100 years back, but it is improving. Like women are finally getting a little bit of rights, a little bit of rights. That's the only difference.
So it's like superficial changes, not really fundamental.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like my sister is a non-hijabi and she's in Saudi Arabia right now to visit my parents, and she keeps telling me that everyone's staring at her. I'm like, you're in Saudi Arabia, what do you expect? But
Well,
yeah,
at
let's
least
keep that for another time. What?
if it's just staring, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean,
When I
because
when
she's
I
in
so my parents are from Syria, and I spent some time over there, sometime as an adult, and I married a woman from there. So we spent some time over there, let's say going to restaurants or whatever. And yeah, the staring was weird. They
in
would stare,
Syria.
they would in Syria. They
Yeah,
would
I imagine.
stare. It was really weird. The only other time that I experienced staring was I went to Guangzhou in China, and I went for a trade show, and I tried to go find a restaurant that was away from all the tourists. And I
Mhm.
found one. We walked in there, and it's me and my dad. We're light skinned, kind of white people to them, and and the only other people there was the Chinese people, and every single one of them was staring at us. Every single one. They had. It's almost like they had. It's almost like in China, there's no taboo against staring.
It is the
They were all
same
staring.
thing.
It's like in
It is the
America,
s
some people might stare, but they try to hide their staring.
If you've have you ever been to Germany?
A little bit, not enough to know anything.
I so my sister lives in Germany, and I went there for like 6 weeks. They stare so much. It made me so uncomfortable. I would be like, "Why are they staring?" My sister would be like, "It's normal. They stare at people. They stare all the
Yeah,
time." And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, "No, this is not normal.
yeah.
This
And
is
so
not
that's the
normal."
point. It is normal over there, wherever you're from. So Jordan and Saudi Arabia, and where I'm from, which is just America. Uh, it's bad to stare, bad. So people try to hide it. And, there's a lot of differences like that. A lot of differences like that between cultures.
In Germany, it's not normal to she was telling me it's normal to stare, but then I found out it's not because they're just staring, it's because they're racist. Because in Germany, they like a huge majority of them don't like Arabs. So whenever they see us speak Arabic, because me and my sister
Well,
don't
I can
really look
imagine
Arab.
why they don't like. I didn't know that, by the way, but I can imagine why they don't like Arabs.
Yeah, why
This is a,
why do you
this is
think?
a very far out theory. I'm just going to throw out there. So
Why?
the history between during World War II, the history between the German leadership and the like at least the Palestinian leader, a religious leader. I mean, there's pictures of them hanging out and talking and discussing theories. They liked each other's
Really?
worldview. Yeah.
Like Hitler?
Hitler and the leaders of the Muslim side.
I thought
I
I
might be
thought
getting mixed up with World War One. So not Hitler, but Germans or
I
Nazis.
thought I I thought Hitler is like anti anything that's not white and Christian.
Well, I think he liked a worldview that agreed with him that the Jews are the scum of the world.
I mean, yeah, basically,
And
yeah, that's what they agree on.
yeah, and I think that's the same reason that I mean, there's Muslims today that say they like Hitler, and they only name one thing because of his view about, or because of what he did to the Jews.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And when I was in Saudi Arabia, I saw the what is it called? The swastika? The
Yeah, the
what is
Nazi
it
symbol,
called? Yeah,
Swiss.
the symbol. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw it so many times there, and the government didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, so then I can imagine, people, Germans today want to distance themselves from Nazis, and then that means you should also distance yourself from, like, if we're gonna follow this in a logical way, you would
I
distance
don't.
yourself from whoever were their friends too.
I don't think that's the reason why, because I made
That's what I
German.
said, off the wall theory.
Yeah, that's not why. I found out it's racism after because I made German friends, and they told me straight out it's because Germany has so how do I say this? I'm gonna sound racist. How do I say this? So because Germany has so many Syrian immigrants, right? You know that so many Syrian asylum seekers.
Okay.
Germans have like they don't really like Arabs to begin with.
Well, they were doing a lot of crime, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid saying that because I don't want to sound like I was being racist, but it's because
Well,
Syrian, like, no,
and
I'm
then
not.
I recently found out, it feels like yesterday or the day before, that I think it was Germany, shut down their borders to shit. I don't remember which country. I don't remember, but they're cutting it off now, and they need to.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but
like
people
that's
still need to be able to get through. People like you need to be able to get out of those places and go to places like Germany, Canada, UK, America,
yeah,
Australia.
yeah, yeah. But it's really, really hard. Like before the ETA, I didn't know what to do. Every single country that was safe for me needed a visa. And to get a visa, you have to like prove that you're gonna come back. You have to show your bank statements. You have to show that you do have reasons to come back. And I didn't have the money. I didn't have anything to make a visa myself. So I was stuck for 2 years. I had no idea what I can do.
So how did you
I
solve
just
it?
because the UK just let us, like, it was the ETA. You apply for it online. You don't have to put any bank statements. You don't have to put anything. You just put online just like a few details about yourself, where you live, if you have a work, and then basically you get it or you don't get it. I got it after 30 minutes.
So I got a question for you, and this is sort of a dual question. It's me still trying to understand how you achieved this. And second, it's okay, while you were doing this, while you were researching what you're going to do, while you were still trying to figure out what you were going to do, where were you getting your information from? Like, is it all little bits and pieces from all these different sources and there was no one place to teach you anything?
Information regarding what?
So regarding how the fuck you're going to do this. So
You mean the asylum process?
yes.
I mean, I just like whenever you think about like any country about their asylum system, you can just type their name like Canada asylum system, UK asylum
Yeah.
system, any country asylum system, and it explains in details how it works and how it like it
So did
explains
you
everything in
search
details.
for a website or a YouTube person that explains
Not
how to
really
get
because
asylum? If that
no, because
existed, don't you think that would have helped you?
you see that the so when I applied for the ETA for the British ETA, I wasn't planning on leaving. I really wasn't planning on leaving. I just did it for fun. I was like, you know what? It's for fun. If I go to the UK, I'm gonna like get screwed over anyways. So I'm just gonna make it for fun. And then I got in a really, 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 really big fight with my parents, and then they made death threats to me. My dad, not my mom, and he made death threats to me.
Sorry.
And that's when I was like, I need to get the fuck out.
So
That's
what I was imagining was whether you had a one source website that really helped you figure out how to do the asylum seeking thing. And if that doesn't exist, then it should exist. And it looks like you know a lot about it, and maybe it could start there. Like maybe there needs to be a resource to help people gain all the knowledge that you now have that took you a million little iterations of getting pieces of information from every different
yeah, yeah.
window.
So about the UK, I can only answer for the UK. I don't know about other countries. For the UK, if you are a person who's trying to get to the UK and claim asylum, there is a website that's called, let me check because I'm not sure. It has all the details from A to Z, everything and every single thing you need to know about the asylum process. Everything. Even before I in my interview, I used this. It tells you about everything. So it's called righttoremain.org.uk.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
There it is.
So if you click on the toolkit part, just go to the toolkit part, the toolkit.
Let me make my screen bigger. I can't see anything. Okay, toolkit here. Okay, I have to do it this other way. I have to show it on two different screens. So toolkit.
Yep, this is it. Basically, it explains everything. See, it states a step-by-step guide to the UK asylum and immigration system. And then if you click on the toolkit contents, it shows you everything. Everything.
If I click on what? Like,
This toolkit content. But you can see it down like when you
oh,
scroll
that.
down anyways. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
oh, okay.
See, it answers everything. What is asylum? Entering the UK to claim asylum. What happens when you claim asylum? Everything. This website was
So I'm
really
just gonna
useful
click
for
on a
me.
random thing here. Yeah, you can learn a lot here. I wonder if there's so at the least, there could be a website that says how to do asylum, and it gives a link to each one of the countries. This website, you know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, that's a really nice idea. Like if someone made
and a
because
little bit
this
more than
is
that, just explaining a little bit of idea, even what asylum is, and because just what I'm imagining is imagine a 13-year-old person kind of just awoke to the world, and they don't know anything. They probably don't even know the word asylum. They barely know, like geography and what countries are and what laws are, right? And like they
Yeah,
need, like, this is probably too advanced for that person.
yeah, it is too
So
advanced even
what
for
that
me.
kind of person would need is something like, I'm just going to throw it out, somebody, a YouTuber that heavily talks about asylums type stuff, how to get out of your country. And it's speaking directly to these people, telling them, and maybe it's they make a video explaining how to use this website, and in a sense that's what you and I are doing now, but mine is so very
This
general.
website,
My
this
content is
website,
so general. Go ahead.
this website, even for me, was too much. It is way too much, but it is really useful. Like if you're someone that knows nothing about asylum, oh my God, the
Yeah,
kids. If you're someone that knows nothing about asylum in the UK and you want to go to the UK and claim asylum, this is where you should go
yeah. So
because
let
it
me
tells you about,
yeah, so
yeah,
let
go
me
on.
let you know. So the podcast you're on, I don't know how much we've talked about this or what I've said or what you heard. It's uniting the cults. We're trying to end apostasy and blasphemy laws. And in the meantime, because that's going to take a long time, in the meantime, we're trying to help people escape their situations with like
Mhm.
asylum. And I would like to do it with money too, not just know how. And the money would come through donations. We get no donations now. This is all in its infancy, but this is all theory right now. But the know how would be stuff like this. And but on like the whoever I'd be helping, I would have to kind of know this like the back of my hand, and for every country. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
to maybe even have contacts in each of the countries. You know,
it's all basically the same. You just go to the country, and then when you're at the airport or after you get out of the airport, you just go and claim asylum. It is
so let
all the
me ask
same
you
for
this then: if you're you know if you're speaking to a how old are you? You said
24. I just turned
24.
24.
Let's say you're talking to someone. I don't even know if there's age limits. Let's say you're talking to someone who's 18 or 21, and
Yeah.
assuming that age is okay for this asylum stuff. Um, and then also asking about yourself. How did you decide UK? How does somebody decide where they're going to go?
I really listen, this is gonna sound awful, and I'm
You need,
really sorry.
you need to go.
But I really, 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 really didn't want to do. I really didn't want to do the UK. I really
Oh,
wanted to do Canada. I really, really wanted to
oh,
do
okay,
Canada.
okay.
But the
So,
UK was my only option because I told you I had the ETA, and it was my only available
so with
option.
Canada, it required you to get a visa some normal route,
Yes,
and
yes,
that
and I have
required some. Oh, you had to prove your bank account.
bank accounts. I have to prove so much. Like I have to, and
So
I
it was
have to pay
process
like
of
hundreds of
elimination. This is
dollars.
the only one that didn't require a bank account proof.
Yeah, because of the ETA, and it was the only country that I like. It was my only option, no other options, because I wanted a country in the West that I know I would have my rights as an ex-Muslim and as a gay person. And the UK was my only option. And honestly, now that I have my status, I don't regret it. I'm glad that I came here. But when I wanted to do it, I wanted to do Canada. I was like, I came here.
Yeah, I mean they're comparable. It's kind of almost the same thing. Obviously, there's kind of big differences too. But
Yeah.
compared to where you're coming from, yeah, they're the same thing.
I mean, one of the main reasons I wanted to do Canada is because of their weed legalization.
Okay, okay, yes, I also smoke
Yeah.
weed. Yeah, and UK doesn't have that now. I know.
You
Yeah,
smoke weed?
I smoke weed, and I know the UK doesn't like that.
Yeah, it's illegal. You have to have a medical
Yes,
cannabis prescription, which is I'm
yeah,
in the
which
process
is
of
not too
getting.
bad. But yeah, you're said so. I don't even know the laws in Canada for this. Is it
It is
completely
fully
legal?
legal. Fully
Fully legal.
legal. You can grow it out. You can do whatever the fuck you want. No one cares. No
Yeah,
one cares. Here, like cops don't really care, but it's still illegal. And as someone who's an asylum seeker and who's a refugee now, I'm scared to do anything that's illegal because, like,
Yeah, so it would have been nicer to be in Canada for this one element.
Exactly, exactly. Like that's one of the main reasons I really wanted to do Canada because I really love weed. I really love weed. But yeah, I'm in the UK. I love the UK. It's a European country with so much culture, with so much.
Well,
And
in
I'm
that
glad I
respect,
came
I
here.
would say it's more fun than Canada. Canada is, 200 years old. It's nothing.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
UK, you have 1,000 years history there.
yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
me, I
It's a
think that would be a more interesting place.
yeah, it's a very beautiful country. I love the UK. And also, there's one more thing about Canada that I don't like. That am I allowed to say whatever that I want?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, okay, okay. So I'm an ex-Muslim. Canada has so many. Canada has so many Muslims, and I feel like for someone who's an ex-Muslim to be like seeing so many Muslims, it's not really.
Isn't the UK even more?
No, like Canada has more. Like Canada is one of the most like one of the countries that gives like Canada gives asylum to
Well, that's
anyone, and they
interesting. That's interesting. You're saying Canada has more Muslims percentage-wise than the
I
other
think so. I think so because
Western countries. But then
I
that
haven't.
what's weird to me is, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I recently been learning about the UK riots, and from what I've understood, the country with the worst problems of ex-Muslims fucking with, sorry, Muslims messing with their country, and and
Messing
the
with the Muslims.
and the country itself kind of not defending itself. The UK police is not putting Muslims in jail. That
Yeah, yeah,
So
I know, I'm aware
so
of that.
is it what's the difference in Canada? Is Canada just a lot better about holding Muslims up to the law? Or
I feel like Canada is more forgiving than the UK when it comes to this.
so then
I
that
don't know
would
why.
make it sound like it's worse. Now here's the thing. I was talking to someone else about this, and they said, well, it's not all the Muslims in UK doing this, it's just the Pakistanis. And I remembered that, yeah, the main group of Muslims that are committing all these crimes is Pakistanis. So I don't know who ended up in Canada. Maybe they didn't get a lot of that version of Muslim. But another way to look at this too is I'm not so sure a lot of these behaviors are like, this is like there's gangs operating, okay,
Mm,
in the UK. And I'm guessing those gangs they weren't born in Pakistan. They were born in the UK by Pakistani Muslims. So
yeah,
what's happening in the UK in these groups is, above and beyond what's happening in like the average Islamic community, you know. So maybe that's why it's not happening in Canada. They don't have those weird gangs starting up. Um,
I, I'm not sure about that because I honestly, all of the crimes that have been happening here because of Muslims, I feel like it's mainly Arabs. I
Not
feel like
Pakistanis.
it's either Arabs. Uh, Listen, I'm gonna sound racist. So I'm not. No, I'm gonna shut my
Well, the
mouth.
information I'm getting is coming from uh, one particular town or city in the UK that was, and I forget the name of the town, but I can get it. This town has the most uh, crime
Pakistani
happening from it.
population.
Let me say it this way. Here's what Tommy Robinson said. Out of all of the Muslim prisoners in the UK, 60% of them come from this one town.
Oh yeah, I know which town you were talking about, but I don't
And
know the
and
name.
it's and the whole group is Pakistanis.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's
I'm not aware about that. I'm not aware about that. But whenever I see
well,
crimes
if you're not
like
aware about Tommy Robinson and what he's saying about what's going on in the UK, I recommend you get aware real quick because you're there, man.
who is Tommy Robinson? I don't
So,
even know
so
who
you don't know
Tommy
Tommy
Robinson.
Robinson.
I
Okay.
don't know who is Tommy Robinson.
First of all, that's a fake name, but I guess I'll say the quick story really quick. He's
Okay.
a little younger than me, 42 or something. When he was 13 was when he first like found out about what's going on. His own cousin was raped by one of these Muslim,
Yeah. Yeah.
Pakistani Muslim rape gangs.
Yeah.
And what he's been finding out over the past 30 years is that this is a big problem and that the police is not trying to stop it. And that's actually part of why it keeps getting worse. They're not stopping it. They're not, as an example, there was a UK father who knew his daughter was getting raped. So he went to that house where it was happening, and police came, and guess who the police took to jail? Not the person raping the daughter, but the father.
Really? In the UK?
Yes. And when they asked the police, well, what the fuck are you guys doing? What they said was, well, the daughter gave consent. The law clearly says it was a 14-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl. That's not consent, even if she says yes.
I think the age of consent in the UK is 16. Let me check. Age.
Here's my point. They're not following their own laws. It's not that the laws are
Yeah,
bad.
it's 16. Yeah, it's
It's not that the
16.
laws are giving an excuse to Muslims. It's that the police are not, you could say it like this, they're afraid to put the Muslims in jail, afraid to be called racist. I don't know. They don't really say.
That's exactly what's happening. Can you hear the children, or is it only me?
I don't hear any children.
Okay, good, because they're being loud as fuck. But but basically, what were we talking about? Holy shit, I have such a bad
The
memory.
UK riots and
Oh
how
yeah. So
So where
the
are
police,
you? Or maybe you don't want to say where you are. Never mind.
I am in London.
Okay, well that's the biggest place to be, and probably
Yeah,
that's the safest place to be. The kind
it
of
is
town
not
we're
the
talking about
safest.
is only like 200,000 people, and I want to tell you some numbers that Tommy Robinson said. He looked up how many Muslims in that town, according to the stats, the people who claim to be Muslims, and then you just divide by 2 to find out how many men, and it came out to like 1,000 men, 1,000 Muslim men in this town
Okay.
of 200,000 people or something like that. And then he counted how many Muslims are accused of having committed these crimes for the past 30 years. And it came out to like 250. So we're talking 25% of this group of men were committing these crimes. 25%. Now you can look at it as a good thing of, look, 75% of them aren't doing anything wrong. That's fine. 25% of these men are committing very, very bad crimes. And repeatedly, it's not like they rape somebody once. They do something like, first of all, it's young girls, so they're tricking them with, with things. Here, I'll give you this if you come over. And then it's like, here's some drugs. And then they get them hooked on heroin.
Yeah, I know. The
Now that they're
situation.
hooked on heroin, what do they do? What do they need to do to get their fix? They go back and then they tell them,
Yeah,
okay, you have sex with this man,
yeah,
and then you get your.
yeah.
That's what's been going on to hundreds, maybe thousands of young girls in the UK over the past few decades.
You see, this is such a big issue in the UK because, like, the police here don't even have guns. They don't even have guns here. They walk around with their sticks, and like when you say why are they not putting these Muslims in prison, it's because basically they don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called Islamophobic. Like they're very, very sensitive when it comes to that topic.
I imagine it's a little bit. See, what you're describing doesn't involve anything about an organization. I think it's a little bit bigger, where you're a policeman who, let's say there is that element of you don't want to be called racist, so you have this worry in your head. But let's say also you think you're going to lose your job.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the organization itself is on board with all this shit. So they're, willy-nilly willing to fire a policeman for, let's say, overlooking at Muslims or sending too many Muslims to jail or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more than just, it has to be more than just scared of being called racist.
Obviously, there are many factors that come into play, But I was about just to say, you know how like Muslims are getting away with so much, and you just told me this yourself. They are doing so much, and nothing is happening to them. And this is when the far right comes in, and they lose their shit. Like when I was here, something like I did not remember. I do not know if this is accurate, but I remember there was this story, right? There was a man who killed a bunch of little girls, and then they found out he was Muslim, and then the entire country lost their shit
This is recent
because
news, right? This happened
yeah, it
yesterday.
is very recent. It is very
Yeah.
recent.
But then they
I
found
don't
out he
know,
wasn't a Muslim,
and then they found out he was a Muslim.
a Christian.
No, but like people were saying, and I feel like this might be true because the father was Christian, but the son, they like so many people said that that son, that person, since like everyone knows who he is now, that they said that he was seen being with Muslims and going to the mosque with Muslims.
Okay. So he picked up some ideas.
Maybe I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe, but you know the far right lost their shit. And I feel like sometimes I feel like people are like the far right are like doing some things that are wrong. But I feel like they had every right to lose their shit when they lost their shit.
Well, I wonder if it's even appropriate to use the label far right. You know, it's some of these people that are, you know, that agree with Tommy Robinson on all these things. Some of these people are just, you know, parents who don't want their daughters raped. That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm
That's
calling
it.
him.
Fuck
I know,
politics.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I'm saying the far right because that's what they're called. So I'm
Yes,
just telling
exactly.
you.
And I just wanted to clarify for everybody, when they use this alt-right label, they're using it as a slander to describe a group of people that a lot of them don't even care about politics. You know, uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It,
and you know maybe some of them might happen to also be alt-right, but come on, this issue is it's a human issue. You forget about left and right.
it is true,
We don't want
and
to get
sadly,
murdered.
it affects all immigrants. Like it affects
Yeah.
me. It affects
Yes.
like I'm an ex-Muslim. Why am I being attacked for being an immigrant? Because these people are ruining it for everyone, for everyone. Like so many, like when the process started happening, it was because they wanted immigrants to leave the country, and it's because when you see so many immigrants who happen to be Muslim are doing all of these crimes, all of us take the blame. Sadly,
Yeah, you know they need to be more drilled down and you know selective on an individual basis. Uh,
like even the place where I live, the police, not even the police, they were like armed forces. They came to us and they asked us if everything was okay because they were scared that we were going to be attacked too.
so you know I think there needs to be basic. I don't know how deep they go, but like there should be a questionnaire. Like if we find out that you like Sharia law or you want, and it has to be more clear that you want Sharia law here instead of the Western laws that we already have. I if you're like that, I would say yeah, you shouldn't be here. And I don't you know what? I don't even care if you've been here. Like even if you already got citizenship, I would strip that citizenship and kick your ass out. That's what I would do.
From where?
From wherever. If anyone says they are pro Sharia law, I don't want them in my country.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. I don't.
of course you wouldn't.
Listen,
Of course you
listen,
wouldn't.
listen.
You're an ex-Muslim. Oh,
I I am an
I mean
ex-Muslim.
anybody. When I say you, I mean people in general.
I am an ex-Muslim, but I feel like when we generalize and say we don't want Muslims here, we become like the
Well,
people who are
and I
racist.
didn't say I don't want Muslims here. I said I don't want people that want Sharia law. There's a difference because there's people. There's
Oh,
Muslims
oh,
who don't want
oh,
Sharia law. Now here's where
oh,
you have to get more drilled down. there's people who say they want Sharia law and they don't even know what Sharia law is. So when you're asking the question, you're gonna have to
Oh,
you're gonna have to get
oh,
deeper into it. You can't just say, "Do you want Sharia law?" You'd have to say things
you,
like,
you know,
huh?
so many Muslims are trying to like. I was talking to my friend about this today. So many Muslims come to Western countries and try to enforce their laws in Western countries. And
Yeah,
I was telling her, imagine if like a Westerner goes to the Middle East and tries and enforces like their Christian laws. Muslims would lose their fucking shit. Like even like I was talking about this like because one of my friends, like I have a friend here who's also an asylum seeker. She's Christian. She went to Saudi Arabia and she was like, I wasn't even allowed to go into Mecca or Medina. It's only for Muslims. And I was like, that's dead ass segregation. That's segregation. Imagine if in the UK, like the prime minister comes out and he's like, by the way, we have this city and that city, and you're not allowed to come in if you're not a Christian. What do you think the Muslims would do? You tell me, what do you think the Muslims would do?
yeah. Uh,
It's just segregation and it's hypocrisy because, like, I just don't get it. I don't get
there,
it.
there is such a thing as having, contrary values, values that don't work with another set of values. That does exist, and that's what Sharia law is in relation to the Western values. It doesn't
Yeah,
work together. It can't work, and it's even things like, actually, I don't know I don't know that much detail about Sharia law, but it's, for me, it's also the culture. In that culture, like right now in Iraq, there's some of the people were voting for reducing the marriage age
I
to
saw that and it
9 years
passed.
old. 9 years old.
The
Fuck that. I don't want any of those people.
the bill passed.
It passed.
Imagine it passed. Did you not? Do you follow the ex-Muslims subreddit?
Yeah.
Like 90% of them, not even 90, like most of them signed and it passed.
So that's what I mean when I say, when I mention the Sharia law thing. That's like one aspect of it. The culture itself has a set of values, and our culture here has a set of values, and you can't mix ones that don't mix. And I'm sorry, but marrying 9-year-olds, yeah, that contradicts our whole system here.
Exactly. And you know what? I don't even care anymore. There's this city in London. It's called Whitechapel, right? So I'm new to London, so I don't know all the cities. And I had to go there because I had an event with an organization called Micro Rainbow, and I had to go there and then go somewhere else. And then when you get to Whitechapel, there's like I went there using the train. When you leave the train station, like on the top it says "Welcome to Whitechapel," and right under it it says "Welcome to Whitechapel" in another language. I don't know what language that was. And I was like, "Wow, that's weird." I leave the train station. I swear to the God that I don't believe in. I walk outside. I see so many Muslims with full big ass beards playing the Quran very, very loud. And they're giving out free English Qurans. And they have these tables and they talk with people to try and convert them back to Islam. And one of the fucking posters there, it said, "No gays allowed here." What is happening? I was like, what is what is happening? Where am I? I was so uncomfortable. I felt like I'm back in the Middle East because everyone there was a Muslim. I did not see one single non-hijabi. And I'm gay. I have my nails painted. Everyone was staring at me. Everyone was staring at me. And I was like, I swear to I was like, I feel like I'm back in Jordan. Like it's so weird because like how do they manage to do this is what was was what I'm trying to understand. Because like saying no gays allowed here is illegal, but how are they getting away with it?
I'm not sure, but it's probably something like weird stuff happens in America. Like there was a bakery that didn't that declined making making a cake for a queer marriage wedding.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
And the way freedom works is they have the right to say no, but they got in trouble and got fined under discrimination law. But that's a wrong decision. The bakery should have the freedom to say no. And to be clear, that queer couple had plenty of other options of bakeries that would do it. So that's there's nothing lost by one, bakery saying no.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, like the whole idea of using force to force the bakery to make, to go against their religion to
yeah.
make
You
that cake.
know, yeah, when I was in Whitechapel, that area I just talked to you about, I I was like I after I left the event, I was really hungry. And then I saw this place. It was like a shawarma place. You're Syrian, you know shawarma.
I love shawarma. It's my favorite food
Yeah. Yeah. So
with
I haven't
chicken.
had, yeah, exactly, with chicken.
When
So
it's made a certain way, can I explain? Go ahead. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
so I was like, I haven't had shawarma ever since I left Jordan, and I love shawarma. I love shawarma. And I was scared to go inside that store, and that man refused service to me because he was staring at me through the window with his big ass beard, and he was giving me this like weird ass look. And I was like, if I go inside and tell him, "Can I get a shawarma?" I feel like he's gonna be like, "Get the fuck out of my store."
So I could see scenarios where maybe force should be imposed. Like as an example, let's say you made a rest area.
Yeah,
A rest area is like it gives relief to the drivers along this long road. And let's say it's a private one, and you decided I'm gonna have water fountains for white people and water fountains for black people. Even in that scenario, it's not like anyone lost their chance to get water.
yeah,
But if
but
it
it's
was the rest
still,
area that said black people not allowed, period, you can't even have water and you can't use the bathroom. That one I would have a problem with because there isn't another rest area in that area. Like, and
yeah,
it would be harming black people to not have access to that. So that's where I, think, and the similar kind of thing would happen with schools. Public schools. First of all, it's the government owned, so obviously you shouldn't have like discrimination there. But let's say private owned, should they have a only Muslims allowed in our Islamic school? You know what I mean? Like I wonder if that's even ever happened. Has there ever been a Christian that said, I want to go to this Muslim school? Would they accept him? Would they say no? And then what would the law say about it? I don't know.
that happened to me. That when I was in Jordan, it didn't happen to me. It happened to someone I don't even know, but it happened. When I was in Jordan, my parents put me in a Muslim school. They wanted me to be like raised with the Muslim teachings. And one of the teachers was like bragging. He was like, "Can you imagine one of the teachers here was Christian and wanted to apply for work? And we obviously said no. Like, can you imagine?" And he was
So
laughing.
the Christian couldn't teach arithmetic, right?
He
Because the
couldn't
school
teach
is teach, huh?
the school's what?
Like the school is teaching math,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's yeah,
language.
yeah. It's teaching
So they're
like
saying
yeah,
this
exactly.
Christian can't teach at our school, even for non-religious things.
It was like he was an English teacher, and they were like, Imagine when he wanted to work here." And it's like this is like one of the things that I really dislike about Muslims is that they have really strong hypocrisy. If you switch the position and like imagine a Christian being like, "I want
Yeah,
Muslims working here,"
yeah, they
that
don't
would
do.
that wouldn't fly by. That would be really bad.
Yeah,
By
they
the
don't.
way, I want you to see this post. By the way, I want you like to also show it. I posted this on Reddit. about a year ago. So it's about this exact same like conversation. I don't know how to send it. Do I send it in the private chat?
You can, yeah.
Okay, I got it. Let me paste. I sent it.
Okay.
They had young people at the polls screaming, "Kill the."
A woman marries a woman or a guy marries a guy, do that, it goes straight to hell.
LGBTQ is not religion.
This is Hamtramck, Michigan, a predominantly Muslim town that made it illegal to hang the gay flag up in public space, causing a small war between the LGBT community and the Muslims that live here.
Not happy with the ban. I believe it to be unconstitutional. We've had 3 flags torn off. I'm not teaching hate against Muslims. Muslims should not be teaching hate against gay people. They had young people at the polls screaming, "Kill the flag." During the voting.
We're investigating the gay flag ban thing.
We go egg the flag. We gotta go egg the flag.
Really?
Yeah. Right now. So you see that flag right there?
I see that, yeah.
That's some gay, right?
In this country, you can be who you want to be. Religion and politics have to be totally separate.
The Constitution says we're allowed to have religious beliefs. And in our religion, it says a woman marries a woman or a guy marries a guy, like strictly forbidden.
This
Leave
city,
the rest of us alone. I don't care either.
What was the plan with the egg?
We was joking.
Okay.
What do you think?
When the guy said, in this country, it says we can practice our religion. But what he that's only half of it. The other half is, what he's stating, you can even erase the word religion from it. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, as long as you're not getting rid of somebody else's freedom to do whatever they want.
Exactly. And it's the same exact people who fucking bitch and whine when you go to their countries and they're like, respect our cultures. Like when the Qatari, what was it called? The World Cup. They were like, no gays allowed, no this and that allowed, respect our culture. Yet they go to the West and they try to, like, you just saw the video. It's basically what happens. You see it happen in the US, it happens in the UK, it happens in the UK way more than the US, I think. And what's worse is these people are immigrants too. Like, they're either immigrants themselves or their parents are sons of immigrants. Like, I mean, they are sons of
From
immigrants.
what I understand, they're sons of immigrants.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They're
And
sons of
they
immigrants.
are worse than the parents.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't get the hypocrisy. I don't get the hypocrisy. But I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
When did you realize you're going to leave? Like, what made you leave Islam?
So I would need to first explain how I saw religion, what its purpose was. So right before I left Islam, I saw religion as a recipe for making your life a good life.
Yeah.
But then I watched my ex-wife follow Islam and ruin her life with it. So she believes she was possessed by jinn, and instead of going to doctors, she went to exorcists. And that made me realize this is batshit crazy. And I knew of the jinn stories before, but I saw them as symbolism, teaching lessons. But that only works if no one literally believes in jinn and doesn't go to fucking doctors and they go to exorcists.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's when I realized religion is dumb.
That was your realization that I need to leave Islam?
Yeah.
That was it? Like, that was the breaking point?
That's it. People say, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? There was only one thing, and it was that.
Oh, for me,
here's the thing. I came, I'm a dinosaur. There wasn't internet. And even when I got on the internet, I wasn't searching religion stuff. I was in business and working, So I never got into any religious debates with anyone. And I don't have any, like, okay, so let's say in person. In person, the only talk of religion was like at the mosque or with my wife, or when we would read the Quran. Hey, I got to tell you this. I read the Quran once with her, and I read this little sentence that said, "A good Muslim is a Muslim who fears Allah and hell." And I remember saying, "Wait a minute, I don't fear Allah or hell." And the underlying message there too was, "And I'm a good person. So what the fuck's up with this contradiction?" And I looked at her face, and what the face I saw was just, doesn't know what to say. So she didn't say anything. And that was it. And now what I understand is the reason I didn't fear Allah was because I knew I'm going to heaven.
Going to heaven, how? Or why?
Because I don't murder, I don't rape, I don't, all that stuff.
That's I used to tell the same to like whenever people would ask me why I'm an atheist. I would be like, I'm not sure if I'm an atheist. I might be agnostic and I don't even know. But I feel like if God did exist, there is no way in hell. There's no way in hell that he would make these religions. Because
yeah,
I feel like
there's no such thing as a contradictory God. That's how I see it.
exactly. Like I feel like for a God to be a fair God, in order for someone to get in heaven, you have to believe. You have to just be a good person. You don't have to follow.
Yeah, another way to say it is the way I saw it was there's a formula, and we can know what the formula is, and then once we know the formula, God's opinion doesn't matter. The formula tells you the equation for what would take you to heaven, and if you know the formula, you just follow the formula. You don't need to ask what God would say.
Yeah.
But if you take those two statements together, what you also get is, okay, so if there really is a God, God made all that logic or whatever, right? But if you can understand the logic without asking or referencing God, then that just means it's just the logic. All you have is the logic.
Yeah.
And you don't need the other part. And here's another way to say it. Suppose there is a God. Okay, same thing. My life is the same. Whether there's a God or not, every single behavior I do works for both scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. My parents think because I'm no longer a Muslim, I'm gonna lose my good behavior, and I'm like, those two don't connect. My good behavior isn't because of me being a Muslim or not. That's what so many people like in Islam think. If you lose your deen,
so I got to tell you, I spent some time in a Facebook group for Arab atheists, and a very common occurrence was somebody would come into the group and say, "What's stopping you from fucking your mother?" And have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. And they use the question as if it's a foolproof argument that there is a God and that we should go believe in God again. Because what he's saying,
I'm not fucking my mother.
What he's saying is, you want to fuck your mother, and the only thing that would stop you is the fear of going to hell.
He is so right. Now that I think about it, he is so right.
The way I would reply to these people, and because they did it all the time, you each time you reply, you like improve your reply. So like, I remember my latest reply is like, okay, so let me see if I understand this. You're asking us why we don't fuck our mothers, or what's stopping us from fucking our mothers. So that means two things. One, you want to fuck your mother. And two,
that poor woman.
And I forget number two because one is so weird.
That poor woman. That poor woman.
Yeah, and then other variation is your sister.
They ask why you don't want to fuck your sister?
Yeah. And one way I replied was, well, the two streams of puke between us slows us down a little bit. And what's another one? I had a friend that says, I don't fuck my mother for the same reason I don't eat cockroaches.
These responses are as weird as the question.
Yeah, I know. Well, the question is so weird; it deserves it.
Is it like Muslims coming in and being like, or is it like?
What I found out was there's some sheikh in Syria, or I don't know which country, but there's sheikhs that's what they tell the people coming in. You know, this is why you need religion, because what's stopping you from fucking your mother? They're saying if you become an atheist, you're gonna fuck your mother, and that's bad. So
he is so right. We should convert back. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
man. Oh my god.
Dude, their arguments are so fucking dumb. I like
it's so fourth grade level logic.
Yeah, yeah. Listen,
I'm telling this to adults.
Listen. Okay, so I live at an accommodation for asylum seekers. So everyone here is an asylum seeker or a refugee like me who got granted refugee status. One of my friends here, he's Lebanese, and we were arguing about Islam because he keeps being up my fucking ass about it. Like, he keeps asking me why I left Islam, why I'm an atheist, and he keeps trying to convert me every single day. So I was like, did you know that Muhammad told the people when they were in drought to drink camel piss? You know about that, right? Do you?
I don't know those details, but I do know I see pictures all the time of these camel jockeys drinking camel piss.
Yeah. So Muhammad, you can
straight out of their ass, dude.
Yeah, you can go to the hadith. It's a
that means it's warm.
Let me tell you. Listen, this is a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So I was telling at first he was like doubting the hadith, and I was like, "It's in the Sahih al-Bukhari," and he goes, "You don't know if it's correct." And I was like, "It's Sahih al-Bukhari," and then after convincing him that it's true, he goes, "Times were different back then." I was like, "What? Camel piss used to be medicine, and now it's not medicine anymore?" Their responses are so, and especially when you talk about Aisha, you're always like, she was 6 years old. They're like, yeah, but time used to be different back then. Okay.
Well, the worst of it is, if you imagine, and let's just talk about the group of people that were born into Islam. If you ask every human being along their life of being a Muslim from the beginning to the end, if you ask people, why do you believe in Islam? Your answer that you would give, your first answer you would give in the earliest part of your Islamhood is because my parents told me. No child could say more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everybody goes beyond that to another level, another stage. And if you were asked, why do you believe in Islam? You'll come up with some answer that has nothing to do with your parents. But it's probably something you heard from your parents. But at least now you're able to repeat their argument.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's the same with racism. It's taught to them.
Here's the weird part I wanted to point out is I don't think anyone has a conscious memory of this is why I believed in Islam, is because my parents told me. That wasn't that. There's no time. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you didn't have memory at that time. And your first memory of why you're a Muslim is your memory of your logical steps you took way after that day. It was long after you got beyond, just believing everything your parents said, that you finally formed a memory of why you're a Muslim. It's really weird to me. It's because, we're, like we said, born into it, but we're in so many ways, we're not conscious yet. But you already have beliefs.
Yeah. And like, even in Islam, it says that everyone's born a Muslim. And then they convert back to any other.
It's weird. I was thinking about this even today. I was talking to my daughter about this. Like, there's so many things in your head that you don't know why, but they're good. So, as an example, the moment in your life when you first were able to understand why teeth brushing could be good. You were already teeth brushing for years before you could have the capacity to understand why teeth brushing would be good.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you do in your life that are like that. Like, you're 5 years old. There's already a lot of things you know how to do, but you don't know why any of them are good. But that doesn't mean you should stop doing them. Right? Now, Islam is one of those. At 5 years old, I'm a Muslim. And if anyone asked me why I'm a Muslim, the answer would have to be because my parents told me. And the same answer would come from, okay, why do you brush your teeth? Because my parents told me. And then, I don't know, maybe 5 years old, I had a little bit better answer for the teeth. Like, I don't know, your teeth will fall out if you don't brush your teeth. But I wonder what answer we would give. Why are you a Muslim? Well, I hope it's not. I'm sure this was the case for a lot of people. So I don't go to hell.
That's the answer that I get. I was about to correct you. I've never in my life, oh my God, life, asked a kid why they're Muslim, and they go, "It's because my parents taught me." Their
Well, no one
answer
was
is
ever asked
always,
that question. That's the point.
No. I do ask, like, sometimes I ask them out of, like, I don't make it so that I'm doubting their religion. I'm just ask. Like, I used to see kids so young pray, and I'm like, why do you pray? Like, that was back when I was in Jordan. Like, I would ask kids, why are you praying at such a young age? And they go, so I don't go to hell.
That's stage 2, though. Stage 1 was because my daddy told me about it.
But
Stage 1 is before they even heard about hell. Because, when you hear about hell, you already heard about Islam for a while. You first have to learn about God and Islam. Then you find out what happens if you don't believe it. Oh, there's a little hell, So they've already gone beyond, and that's where the brainwashing happened already. Like, he already forgot that he went from stage 1. My parents told me to stage 2. I don't want to go to hell. But where did you get that information from? From your parents. And where did they get that information from? From their parents, all the way back to Muhammad, who made it up. We made it up from other variations of the same made up nonsense.
Yeah. When I was like a child, I was like I don't even remember. I was like in like first grade, second grade, third grade. My teachers and my sister's teachers, they were teaching us about hell, what would happen if we didn't pray, and and we were kids. Why are you teaching kids about fire and burning corpses?
Child abuse.
Yes, it's really bad.
Do you fear hell still?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you serious, or
I am serious, and I can tell the answer is no, but there's a lot of ex-Muslims who fear hell.
So if hell is true, if it is true, right, and it is based on what is supposed
let me describe what's happening to them.
No. I'm saying, but like, if it is true, like, let's say hell is true, I would much rather be in hell with the people in hell than be in heaven with the people in heaven. Because people are not gonna be like, I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be with hell and the people with hell. Like, because according to Islam, the Albert Einstein is going to hell. All of the good people are going to hell.
Me, I'm gonna guess that the reason you don't fear hell is because there's no hell. But there's people who this is their line of logic. Okay, they're ex-Muslims. They might have been ex-Muslim for years, and when they hear a new miracle claim, and their brain asks themselves a question: what if I'm wrong about Islam? What if this miracle claim is true? And then they have a panic attack.
Don't we all went through that, didn't you?
No, because I didn't even fear hell when I was a Muslim.
Oh. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so that's all. I mean, you don't have this problem they have, for whatever reason. You're because in the way you're thinking about it is, even if there was a hell, that's the place you prefer to go.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, listen. Even though I'm gay, listen. Where do you think there would be bad bitches? In hell or heaven?
Yeah, all the fun people would be in hell. Yeah.
No. I'm saying
But they're all getting burned.
No.
They're not enjoying themselves.
No. Can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss about God? I'm telling you, where would you find bad bitches? In hell or heaven?
In hell.
Exactly.
Yeah. All the musicians, all the filmmakers,
Exactly.
anyone who likes music or everything.
Exactly. I would much rather be in hell than in heaven. But
Yeah. So you weren't aware that there's people who are ex-Muslim?
I am aware. You see, the thing about ex-Muslim and believing the religion is, I feel like it's a process. Like at first you're like doubtful, you're scared, you still somewhat believe in the religion, and the more time passes, the more you're like, no, this is not true. This is what happened to me because I started doubting Islam when I was like even in middle school. I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. And I would ask questions. Whenever I ask these questions, they would be like, only God knows the answer. So the more time passed, the more I was able to disconnect myself from the religion because like we as humans are scared to let go of something that's so, what is the word? Is it familiar or similar? I don't know which one fits here.
Well, I think one element is
something familiar.
There's people who grow up around like a monoculture and they're not aware of any people from other cultures.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for them to like break out of whatever nonsense that culture has. And then there's people who, they come from a culture like this, but then let's say they spend some time online and talk to all sorts of different people, or let's say they work outside the house, so they have a lot of chances to meet people from very different cultures. And then once you see a little bit of everything, you're not so attached to your own.
Yeah.
So you probably had some of that. You had sources of knowledge other than your parents and your immediate society or whatever.
Yeah. It was the internet. Like my source of it was the internet.
Yeah.
I have a Pakistani friend. He's gay. He didn't know he's gay. And because he used to be holding into Islam so strongly, he didn't want to believe it. And after he met me and after we became friends, he was starting to be more and more accepting of himself. So at first he acknowledged that he's gay. That was the first step. I was like, okay, good. And now he's starting to doubt Islam. Because whenever him and I have these arguments about Islam, he's scared to agree because inside him, the brainwashing got to the point where it's scary to, even doubt the religion. It's something that's so familiar to you that you're scared to let go of. That's why so many Muslims don't want to leave the religion, because they're scared to let go of something that they believe so strongly is what's right and it's what is familiar, like I told you.
Because they were
brainwashed, basically.
Well, yeah, but the word I want to use is fear-mongering. They were scared about hell. They were told to be scared about hell repeatedly with, don't do that or you go to hell. And then also very detailed descriptions of how painful it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember when I was in school, they were teaching us about that. I remember I had nightmares about it. I was a child. I had nightmares about hell.
I didn't get that kind of stuff. My parents never talked about things like that.
That.
So, I mean, I was aware of hell and I had maybe some descriptions about it, fire forever or whatever, but I didn't hear the things like it's gonna burn your flesh and then God's gonna remake all your flesh and burn it again and then keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, the Muslim school that I used to go to, they used to teach us like very, very wrong stuff. They used to teach us that if you jerk off, you're gonna become infertile. And I believed that because I didn't know any better. So I was scared. I was scared to do it. Imagine I was just a teenager. I just hit puberty, and I was scared to do it because they were teaching us and they were telling us that if you jerk off, you will become infertile. Like, and they also taught us that only non-Muslims get AIDS because it's non-halal sex. So, like one time, one of my science teachers, he asks, "Do you know why people get AIDS?" And one of the students comes up and he's like, "It's because it goes into the wrong hole." That's what he thought, and then he goes, "No, it's because it's non-halal sex." What is this cult shit that they are teaching us?
It's so bad. I mean, the one I always talk about, like whenever anyone asks, why are you not a Muslim? I basically tell them what I told you. Look, Islam says jinn are real. Jinn are not real. It's batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people come back and say, but jinn are real.
Okay, prove it.
And
prove it. That's all I always tell them. Prove it.
So there's a problem there where the thing I want to use as my reasoning for why Islam is retarded is something that I see as retarded, but they see as smart.
Yeah.
And that's the same problem we have with the religion itself. I see it as dumb, they see it as smart. And man, if I can't convince them out of jinn, then I don't think I can convince them out of Islam either. It's the same similar logic.
Yeah.
And like a lot of them believe in jinn, dude. So many of them. I wonder if it's easier. I wonder if it's easier to reject Islam before rejecting jinn.
Like, whenever I used to tell my dad all the time that I don't believe in jinn, and he would be like, "Okay, if you don't believe in jinn, why don't you go and walk out in a graveyard at night?" And I would be like, "What the fuck does that have to do with anything? What the fuck does that have to do with anything?"
What he's saying is, since you won't go, that means you secretly believe.
Yeah, I know. That's what I know. That's what he thinks. But like that has nothing to do with anything. That I'm around dead bodies at night. I don't want to be around dead bodies at night. No one wants to be around dead bodies at night, whether I believe in jinn or not.
It's dumb. Like, what's weird about this scenario is this person knows you don't believe in jinn, or at least heard you say it, but thinks you believe in it anyway. Like, not much different than the ex-Muslims who say to us, "Hey, come back to Islam, and then Allah won't send you to hell." And I'll be like, "Yeah, but I don't believe in hell." Yeah. And they'll be like, "Yeah, but come on, it's hell. Like, it's so bad."
This reminds me of this. Listen. Were you able to see my Reddit posts about a few weeks ago? I made a few posts and I deleted one of them. Were you able to see them? They blew up.
You told me to look and I looked, but I don't remember any of the content.
So on my Reddit, I posted my mom's conversation with me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And it was really bad. She was being really abusive. She was being really awful. And it blew up. It got 110,000 views.
Wow.
And it got like 700 likes, 500 comments. And one guy, this happened on September 4th. He texts me, this is on Reddit. "Hi, I came across your post about your mother's text messages. I myself struggle with same-sex attraction. But that doesn't justify leaving your religion and your family to fulfill your desires. I'm here to chat if you're interested. And yes, I'm Muslim. I'm still Muslim. It doesn't matter what you feel. If you truly submit to God, your creator, nothing else matters. There's no comparison with your creator or your desires. Your Lord is the only one worthy of your worship, not your desires or feelings. Do you not want to be with your Lord and see His face and being admitted into His paradise, where you will experience bliss for eternity? 40 or 60 or 80 years ain't worth giving that bliss up. Honestly, I feel for your mother, and I pray you guys are reunited, and I pray Allah guide you back to His religion. And why did I only responded with one sentence? I said, you know what? I'm gonna listen to your advice, and hopefully I get my 72 virgins in Jannah. Like, what's that retarded shit? What the fuck did I just read? Like he says I
And
struggle
why? Why are they doing it? That's their. They think they're
they're
getting
so
Hasanat.
yeah, they're like Muslims are so nosy. I fucking hate it. They're like, have you ever seen Christians be as nosy as Muslims are?
Dude, it's no different than, when, let's say there's a company that's really brand new, really bad at selling, and they're just throwing salespeople at this, selling this product. And these salespeople, they have a very low success rate. They just try a lot. They call you up, telesales, hey, will you buy this? No? Okay, buy. And it's, maybe 1 out of 40 buys, right? That's what's happening here. These people, when he sent you this message, there's so little quality effort going in it that the success rate is really, really, really low. Some people do get in, but it's so bad, and it's as bad as those guys. Like these bad salespeople, they don't know their product, they don't know how to talk to you, they've never sold anything before, they forgot to say their name, shit like that. That's what these guys are doing with you. It's really bad selling techniques, and they don't know their product. They don't know their product. They don't know their price. They don't know anything.
It's exactly like the Indian scammers that call you. Exactly like the Indian scammers, except I'm immune to it by now.
Oh,
there is this question.
They are scammers too. It's not even a.
Yeah.
They really are scammers. What's weird is they're another level of scammer. They don't even know they're a scammer.
Like, I have a sorry, I suddenly disconnected for a second.
It's even weirder than being a regular scammer.
I have a question I always ask ex-Muslims or ex-Muslims. Do you think Muhammad was a bad person, or do you think he was schizo?
Or do I think he was what? What's the second option?
Schizo.
Schizo. I mean, he can be both. He can be both.
I mean, because one time I was talking to one of my ex-Muslim friends, and he was like, I think he was schizo because like he didn't even believe in the images that he saw, and then was it like his wife that she took him to his uncle, I think.
Yeah, I do think he intentionally made up some of the stuff. Maybe he also is schizo and had hallucinations and whatever. But come on, he lied about a lot of stuff.
He might be schizo. You never know. He might be actually imagining this shit. Like there are so many like one of the hadith that I read that was like this hadith talks about him hitting Aisha. So she was talking about how she noticed he left the bed at night, and she followed him, and she saw him talking to no one. Like it's a true hadith, and saw him talking to no one. Like she says that she saw him talking to no one. He was just talking to himself. And then he came back and he noticed her shadow. And then when he asked her if she was following him, and then he hit her. But like this might be like this man might actually be schizophrenic.
There's a guy who wrote a book. I don't remember his name. Maybe it'll come to me. And he writes about Islamic issues. And yeah, he argues that Muhammad was schizophrenic, and he goes into details. And he goes into details, and he's trying to argue it from a mental health standpoint. Yeah, I've heard that.
So wait,
not new.
Is he trying to do what the American court system does? That he's just trying to excuse everything he did just because?
No, he heavily criticizes Islam.
Oh, okay, good.
He was also mentally ill, which explains. No, but he's very much against Islam.
Because, like, even you said it yourself, Islam literally copied every single thing from the same bullshit from like the previous religions.
Yeah,
And if you
but it twisted things and it made some stuff worse.
yeah, and if you try to map out every single country that Muhammad mentioned, it's all countries around him. Why did he never like move away from these countries? Like he only mentions the countries that are near him, and then he leaves out
That's how
like
history works.
yeah. That's not how history works. I mean that this
Yeah.
man, this man, when he used to talk about geography, he would explain about the countries near him. He never ever talked about countries that are away from him because he wasn't aware of them.
Yes,
But if he
'cause
was a
that's how
true
history
prophet,
works. That's how history works. Like we know
why do
that
you mean? Why do you mean how that history works?
because, like, when we hear some account of somebody saying something about whatever happened, you also have to factor in what those people knew at the time. Like, for example, a big portion of the world didn't know the Americas, 2 continents
Yeah,
exist.
no, but I'm
So
saying what I'm saying is, if he's
Right,
a true prophet, if he's
yes,
a true prophet of
that's
God,
why
he
I'm
would know
saying
about
history. That's why I'm saying history.
that.
Because
Yeah,
there's
I'm
no
saying,
prophet and there's just history.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's a true prophet of God, why is he only talking about countries that? Why didn't he talk about the Americas? If he's a prophet, he should know, right? He didn't know shit. I, honestly, I feel like this I need to talk about because you asked me this question when I first got here. You were like, "Could you explain how you got here?" So I don't know if anyone's watching. Is anyone watching the podcast?
It's not live. I'm gonna release it, later in like a week.
Okay, so I just want to put this out. I don't know if like anyone's gonna watch this and actually consider what I'm saying, but if anyone who's in this is who is in the same situation I was in, I'm more than willing to be like to help that person. Like I don't know what type of information to give out, but if you are an Arab who is in the Middle East, who is stuck, who doesn't know how to proceed, I am more than willing to be able to help you get out of the country.
How would you be able to help?
Uh,
I mean, besides know-how.
what information should I give out? Now I'm thinking about that.
Well,
What
for one
information?
thing, I mean, if you were able to have a conversation with them, that's already a big deal because they would be able to ask you whatever. I mean, maybe they have questions that they can't answer without somebody like you helping them, and maybe you already know the answers. So, I mean, that can help somebody a lot. I think if you just talk to someone.
Yeah,
And
but I'm just like,
go ahead.
go on. Sorry.
That was it, I guess.
I
So the
didn't hear
only
what you
kind of
said.
help that I'm thinking of is just talking to them about what you know, letting them ask you
No, I'm
questions so
saying,
you can answer.
I'm saying what type of what type of personal information do I give out? Because I don't know which to give out. Do you understand what I mean?
I don't even think you need to give any personal information, because you could have like, let's say you had a website.
I don't have a website. That's what I'm saying.
So let's say there was a website, and your name could just be whatever name you pick, and you could be helping people without giving any of your personal details.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You might mention that if you're from the UK, and then that would sort of guide them on how you could help because that means you know the UK the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But until the website is a thing, I have an email that I'm like this email. If anyone contacts me on it, am I allowed?
directly from here. Yeah, I'll put your email if you want. I'll put your email in the description.
Yeah, sure. I'll send it in a private chat. This one will be. I just sent it.
Okay. Wow, that's a really short email.
Yeah, I know. It's a cool ass email. Cool ass email. I know. Whenever I don't even use it, but sometimes when I want people to know that I have a cool ass email, I give them that one.
Oh, shit. Let's see. So there it is. So there's the email address.
Yes.
Everyone, Tariq is saying you can email him, and for help. I would like to help people.
What I'm basically trying to say. Sorry for interrupting. I have ADHD, so my mind gets everywhere.
No problem.
But what I want to say, if someone watches this and they're in the same situation that I was in, I was stuck. I had no source of help. Even Rainbow Railroad would take years to get back to me. I felt stuck. I thought that the only way for me to be able to get away from the life that I lived was to kill myself. And everyone told me that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And I obviously didn't believe that. I just thought I'm doomed for the rest of my life to live in the Middle East as a gay ex-Muslim. And obviously that's not a very good life for me. So if anyone who's watching this is in the same situation as me and they're feeling stuck, I'm more than happy to walk you through the process of getting out of the country and getting you to safety.
Yeah, just advice. That's what people need. Sometimes they need advice on smaller stuff, like what do I tell my dad? And
I got my dad off. I got my dad off. I don't talk to him anymore.
people need help with that too. A lot of people are like, they can't even imagine the idea of cutting off their parents, but maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. Like one of my friends, like the Pakistani friend that I told you about, I was like, you can come here, claim asylum. You're a Pakistani. You would get right away. And he's really scared to let go of his parents that very clearly do not accept him. It's because
So-
we're, yeah,
So
sorry, go
I
on.
just want to say, I want to say again, I'm trying to help all these people, and one way I could be helping is by helping you get more people like you get more, well, people connecting to you so you can help. So we need like a network of people. So you and I are two people. There's more than us, of course, but we're in connection now. So if I ever meet anyone that I think needs your help, I'm going to send them your way, and then of course you could do the opposite thing too, vice versa.
Yeah, and I also have a friend that's in Canada that is also willing to help. She's an ex-Muslim too. Her name is Sarah. She's from Bahrain. If you would like to have her on your podcast, you can. I'll ask her.
Please,
She's
please do that.
exactly like me. What?
Please do that. How about this? Wait until I publish this episode,
Yeah.
and then you'll have a link. I'll send you the link, and then contact her and say, "Hey, Rami would like to have you on the show."
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Because we're trying to help ex-Muslims all over the world.
Yeah. Okay. Because she's an ex-Muslim and she's also she's queer also, and she's about to reach 40, and she managed to leave at 40. So that shows that anyone can leave, even if they think it's too late.
So I want to finish off by saying I want to help you in helping people. So that's probably going to change over time.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing now is kind of very little, and whatever you might be doing 10 years from now might be a lot more. And I'd like to help you evolve through that. So that means, like, if you're going to keep doing that, and if I'm going to keep helping, we need to like have meetings where we discuss all these things.
Yes, I am 100% gonna stick to this, because I told myself if I get the status, I 100% will help the people that are in the situation that I was in, because God, that also I don't believe in, knows how bad it was. It's really bad. You feel really helpless.
So then
You
I
feel
think we
really
should do like regular meetings where we hash out all this stuff. And during those meetings, we might find out, okay, we want to start a website,
yeah, sure.
and so on. And by the way, there's already another person that I have these meetings with, and so maybe it might make sense for the three of us to do a meeting. I don't know. For now, it's just you and me, but that's all I'm saying. We might include him.
Yeah, sure. If you want, we can have like all of us three with Sarah if you want, or if you want with Sarah alone. She will be more than willing to join your podcast.
Yeah.
And she's
probably
like,
both. Probably initially just her, and then maybe again with her. I don't know.
so do you not want to be with me? I'm offended. I'm joking. Don't
No,
worry.
no. I'm saying probably both.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
But I'll let her know.
Yeah. Cool. So that's all, I guess, for this. Do you want to say anything else about asylum seeking to the audience before we get off here? And if not, then you want to say anything else at all in general?
About the asylum seeking, people will tell you won't get it. When I was thinking about leaving the country and claiming asylum, I asked so many people in Jordan, and they told me that I'm not gonna get it because my reasons are not strong enough, and that how do I say this? You know Arabic, right?
Yeah.
And they kept telling me just because you are dalla, you won't get your asylum. Like
You don't
you
know
won't get
that word,
asylum.
Bella? What's that?
Dalla. It's like dalla. I don't know how to explain it. Like someone who's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like someone who has it easy.
I know Mdellal.
Exactly. That's the exact same, but we say dalla.
Okay.
Dalla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mdellal, you were babied, and yeah, you had your life.
Yeah.
You don't need a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were telling me I'm not gonna get it, and life isn't easy as I think, and that I would get rejected. And when I came here, I was really scared about that, and I got my status.
But
I
you know,
got my
that's not much
status.
different than this. If you were to ask 10, let's say you had an idea to start a business, and if you ask 10 people, every one of those 10 people is going to say, no, you shouldn't do it. That's not going to work. That's fucking stupid. I can't believe you thought about that.
Yeah.
The standard reaction by most people is to shit on something.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't have much optimism in them at all.
When that happened, I lost all hope.
So you were believing them?
Yes. Because I didn't know anything. I was just desperately reaching out for
Well,
help.
remind me again, how did you achieve this when you didn't have hope?
You mean when I went to the UK?
Yeah, like
Because
so accidental.
it's not. I got in a really huge fight with my dad, like I told you, and he was making death threats to me. And I was in Jordan at the time. He was in Saudi Arabia, and he told me that once he gets to me, he's gonna kill me. So I had no option.
So bad that you relooked at it again.
I basically had no option other to go to the UK and hope for the best. And when I came here, I found out it's not like what people say that it's impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
The West wants to help you. They want to help you. Like they understand us. They want to help us. That's what people think isn't true. No, they understand us. They understand our pain. They understand everything. I got listen. I was supposed to get my interview in a year, right? A year to 2 years. I got my interview after a month of being here. Everyone I told was so shocked because everyone I know has been here for like a while. And after my interview, I was told by the Home Office themselves the answer is going to take 3 to 6 months for me to know what happened. I got my answer 1 day after the interview. That shows that people will always shit on you. People will always scare you. People will always try to, like you said, shit on you. But it isn't as scary as people make you think. It is not. And like I told my
So you're
friend,
telling people don't listen to the pessimists.
Exactly. Do not listen to the pessimists. You can do. I did it. I'm 24. I was 23 when I claimed asylum, and I did it. If I can do it, and trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Well, I mean, their situation might be worse, but at least try. At least have a conversation with Tariq. I don't even want to say the rest of the sentence. Don't go the other route.
There is always a solution. That's what I always didn't believe in, but I promise there is always a solution.
Well, the thing is, there's people's situations that are, different than yours, and they're so different that you and I don't even know what the hell they're going through. So, like, it's not even like we can, in some ways, I cannot empathize with someone when I don't know anything about what's going on with them. So,
Yeah,
so
but
that's I'm sure there's some people out there that their situation is so bad, even if they try to explain it to us, we wouldn't know what the hell they're saying.
But they can do it. They can do it because I have friends who are from Saudi Arabia who are queer here. I have friends from Tunisia. I have friends from all over the world here who claim asylum just because they're queer. So, and I've
Okay.
heard really bad
Okay.
stories.
How about a 12-year-old girl in one of those scenarios? Pretty sure
That
they can't do anything.
I don't think minors can claim asylum. I'm not sure.
That's what I
I'm not
mean.
sure.
So if you're talking to a 12-year-old, you're telling them, okay, sit tight for 8 years.
Yeah,
And
6
then,
years.
see what I mean?
Six-
Like
yeah.
that.
What do you want me to do? Make her a magic potion and make her turn 18?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But part of it is, it's almost like, the people who suffer more are the ones who are ex-Muslims now. They're suffering more than their counterparts who were Muslims and haven't left yet, because they're getting this extra bad treatment from their Muslim family than they would have had if they just acted like, or either they were Muslims or acted like they're Muslims.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. That my life wouldn't be as bad as it was before I got the status if I just played pretend.
Yeah,
I could, like, you know what I mean.
yeah.
But like I
That's
told
really
you,
hard for people, and that's the kind of things that those people need help with, like to be able to talk to someone like you who went through that. Talking to me is not very helpful for this kind of stuff. I didn't deal with any of these things. I never sought asylum. I was already in the best country, kind of thing, and I never had to see you. You lost your dad through this. I never
and
had,
my mom.
and your mom. I never had to worry about losing my parents. So there's so much that I can't tell people about because I didn't live through that. But you can. You went through all those three things. You had to seek asylum and you lost both your parents.
Yeah, and I basically lost the right to ever visit my own home country ever again.
That one doesn't even seem like a big deal compared to the other three things.
It is not a big deal, but like, sometimes you have homesickness,
Yeah.
And also, the one that hurts me the most is I had to let go of my cat. I really love that cat, and I left her behind. But
So,
we'll
by the
move
way,
on.
one more thing on all this, if you really want to help people, it might make sense to not just have a website, but create content, like on YouTube, and then more people will find you that way,
Excellent. When
and
I
then
posted my
you can help more people escape that way by doing what I'm doing on YouTube and stuff.
I feel like so first of all, when I posted my story on the ex-Muslim subreddit, everyone told me I should make content that people like me, like people want to know how I managed to do what I did, just
I'll
so they
tell you
can.
one thing unique about you. I don't think I've seen the mix of ex-Muslim, YouTuber, male queer. I don't think I've seen that.
How have you not?
I think I've seen female queer or female bi, but I haven't seen male queer.
It's weird because I've seen queer Muslims here, so many queer Muslims.
You can
But
speak to those people a certain way that I wouldn't be able to speak to them about.
no, I
The
make so much.
conflict they have between queerness and Islam, that's difficult to deal with, and it only makes sense to understand it if you're queer yourself.
Yeah, yeah. But the content creation thing, I feel like for now, it would be better if it's one-on-one because that way it's more personalized, right? Like I give like
Oh yeah,
advice.
I just meant in addition. Yeah, I think you should do one-on-one calls with people. I think it would be beneficial if somehow those one-on-one calls also went public, but I wouldn't. What I would fear in that is a lot of people wouldn't even do it if they know it's going to be public. So then you lose helping them.
I wouldn't publicize anything because like if their voice is heard, it's game over for them.
Well, there's
Their
voice changes.
privacy.
There are
Exactly.
voice
But no,
changes.
but like their privacy is like something that should be very, very important because their entire safety and life is based
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. So really, you would just have the one-on-ones. They're totally private, and then maybe a select few of those
Who are willing to
go
voice.
further, and I guess you're saying risk. Even with a voice changer and no picture, yeah, to get on your show and talk further about it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No
I'm
hurry.
thinking of-
I'm not trying to push you into anything, but I just see what there's opportunities could be there. So that's why I'm mentioning them.
No, I'm just saying like because right now I'm just worried about my accommodation and everything because I have to move out soon. But I do plan on like helping people, and I am going to help people.
And if you do the YouTube thing and it goes well, like that could be your income. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of these people making money. Like I was listening to Apostate Aladdin, and he has 40,000 YouTube subscribers, and he says he doesn't make enough money, and he would still be making more money if he had his old job. So it's not like it would it would happen right away. But
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like content creation is a very long, exhausting journey. You're on it yourself.
Yeah, and I went after making a nonprofit first, and the YouTube is just an engine to advertise for the nonprofit. And yeah, the YouTube could make money, and I would just use that money for the nonprofit. Like, let's say it made enough money to pay for me so I could do this full time. That would be nice. But yeah, I don't get any
Yeah.
money from it now.
I mean, you might one day. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yep.
Hold on. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's all then. Anything else? Last thing you want to say before we go?
Thank you for having me. It was really great talking to you.
Okay, cool. Well,
And
I'm glad you were on the show, and I hope to have you on again. What I'll do is in the next month or two, I'll email you to talk about what we're going to talk about next time.
okay, yeah, sure. But
And then about the meetings separately, I'll email you about having the meetings.
okay, and if you want me to tell Sarah about everything, just tell me about that.
I do. I told you already. If you want, I can email you again.
Do you want me to tell her? I can have her contact you.
Oh! I asked you to wait until we release this episode.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell her now? She's gonna be okay with it.
I mean, you can tell her now if you want. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll tell her, and
You
you'll have her
know
on the
better
show.
than I do. That's the point. So
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for having me.
okay, you're welcome, and we'll see everyone next time. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.